Welcome once again to another episode of the only show where fashion and beauty and technology collide. The Skinny on Beauty, the straight story, and the real skinny with your skinny host here, Cheryl Hawley. Hey, Cheryl.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for the compliment.
You are doing something that I didn't think we could talk about. Skinny, you're trying to pack 100 people into the studio here today, and we're doing live Facebook, live Instagram, live YouTube. I've never seen so many things going on.
We're live everywhere.
Everywhere.
Well, as Unites, as the director of marketing and influencer marketing at Unite Socially, I have to be live everywhere, right?
You do, and you're proving it today.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of The Skinny on Beauty. Today, we're going to be covering how to cover your live events online, whether that be posting, sharing, shooting live video like we're doing today on 4 different platforms, or influencer marketing. I have 3 fabulous guests with me here today. Together, they are a dynamic team when it comes to covering live events. Kathy Moreno, my main guest here with OC Fashion Week, who's either tweeting or Instagramming away. And then we also have Kimberly with Amazing Lash Studios, and Raad, if you could see him.
Don't turn around.
Oh, okay, don't turn around.
Go off the mic. How long have you been doing
turn
this?
Around.
Don't turn around.
Club over here.
And do we want to give a plug that Raad also does 2 shows on the network here,
Well,
too?
that's why I said don't turn around. It
He
wasn't
knows.
anything personal. It was
He
just
knows.
that face the mic at all times.
He knows.
You can tune into the Raad Life every Wednesday at noon, where he explores the aging journey that so many of us aging baby boomers and wannabes are on. And then he does a totally different show on Check Out California about the hospitality industry. So 2 totally different shows you may want to check out as well, in addition to the Skinny and Beauty here today. These girls don't want to do an interview. They just want to do selfies all day here today.
I'm getting lots of tips on how to do my show here today, and I'm loving it. So let's.
Paul Roberts.
Kathy's having her own show. Go.
Doing her own show here, right?
I'm going to give a quick bio.
It's kind of like Wizard of Oz here.
I'm the man behind the curtain
He's
here.
the
You
man
never
behind the
usually get to
curtain.
see me. I usually don't allow that.
I know. We're favored today in a lot
For
of
good
different
reason.
ways.
All right.
So while
Good reason,
Kathy's
thanks.
doing her own Instagram Live, I'm going to give a quick bio on her. She's the executive producer of OC Fashion Week, the Runway Fashion Week, and the founder of OC Fashion Council Advisory Board. OC Fashion Week covers luxury market of Orange County to the rest of the world to advocate for fashion tourism, runway designers, and executive retail businesses through various platforms, including their live coverage on Fashionista Now Boarding, a cable television show, which I had the honor of being on. Thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome. So excited to be here, Cheryl, and thank you for inviting all of us. We're so thrilled to do this radio show, and we love what you represent and everything that you're doing. So we're really excited to be here.
Thank you. Yes, I'm excited to have all of you here. So your background in event production, Kathy, is quite impressive. So therefore, in 2010, when you were approached to reconstruct the core production for OC Fashion Week, I'm sure nobody was surprised. So if you could share with us the inside story of how that went and what inspired you to produce the show.
Yeah, it was really, well, it caught me by surprise because at the time, my agency, which is Hot OC Traveler, which originally began, with a partnership with American Express Travel. I was adopted by them back in 2007 at a particular location in Laguna Niguel. At the time, I had a really, really long name, and I was just basically doing a lot of public relations and emergency events. People would call me, and I would work covert operations to flip and reconstruct different events. And it just became my niche to do it under 6 weeks or less. I have no idea why. It might have something to do with me working in television because prior to that, I was an analyst for the Register, and then before that, working for the Ducks and the Angels, building broadcast logs in television. And when I was in San Diego, I was a research analyst for Univision and programming for Fox. And so I had gotten used to that adrenaline before social media came about, right? So now we're kind of in this new landscape where everybody's media, right? So at the time I was looking at success models, who was succeeding in media, and when the market crashed, it was Huffington Post at the time that was thriving, and because they were user-generated content, and that user-generated content was done through fulfillment of these Pied Pipers, these people that were leaders and innovators in their creative craft. Right. And so learning from that, I was just like, I was asked to do a Harper's Bazaar event, and I was so flattered.
Very cool.
Oh, it was very cool. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so, but there was a catch. They said, well, actually you have to use a different logo at this time because, this is going to be for an editorial, so it's not really advertorial. And so I said, well, okay, then I'll change my company name. And it became Hot OC. And it wasn't to promote me as a Hot OC traveler. It was promote the fashionable traveler of Orange County. Now, during that time, I was also asked to do an event for for an opera festival, and asked to do the market research for the city to present a festival. And when I did, that's when I was looking at consumer expenditures, because that was my craft before.
Right.
I'm not one to go and sell just off the fly by the seat of my pants. I got to know the facts. What are we all about? And lo and behold, 2006 numbers, consumer expenditures, Applied Geographic Solutions, never forget, Scarborough, yes, I used market research data, showed $56 billion in consumer spend in retail. I had to do a double take. I was like, what? No way.
Wow.
Because I was looking at travel. We spend $2.1 billion in travel.
For Hot OC, right?
Not for Hot OC, for Orange County.
Oh, okay.
Our metropolitan piece of the Los Angeles pie, which we're considered a sliver of, but independently considered a county, versus like a PMSA is what they call it, metropolitan area, versus an L.
This stuff is so good, but somebody just tweeted and they can't quite hear you now, so I'm going to do what we never do. I'm going to reach in. Let's get you to
so do I need to talk a little bit louder? I need to talk a little bit louder.
There you go.
Okay, so basically, and sorry to get so technical, but this was kind of a defining moment, because it was almost serendipitous. I had just got in with Aston Martin at the time, and I was working designing their racing tour, and it was so exciting to work with a North America Aston Martin. And we had built our incentive agency as a loyalty program, and that was designed to help create customer appreciation and help for return business and retention and new business. So a lot of our event strategies were catered to this. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, God. Now, ironically, I happened to meet the producer of America's Next Top Model, because guess who drove up in the Vanquish? They're like, Kathy, you're not going to believe that. And I'm like, no way. So fast forward a whole year later, these guys come up to me, and it's the Elephant Man Foundation, the original founders of OC Fashion that published it in California Apparel News back in 2005. And they go, Kathy, we need help. We need to get sponsors. And I was like, oh, no. I let me hold off. I got this good thing going, And to make a long story short, 3 years later, here I am, the producer and owner. We ended up finding a great way to reconstruct the show, but it took a lot of help from some wonderful people that we met along the way, building.
And quick plug, give us, when is it coming up? And give us the details of OC. Where is it? When is it?
So September 5th through the 8th is when it's coming. We have different venue locations. We could go over some of those details of that very, very soon, because some of them are a surprise. Right. But and we've got a brand new website coming up. But we've got folks like Raad Ghantous. I met him through.
Yeah, Raad's on the show here today. Instagram, you can't see him. Maybe he can. There you go.
Yes, and we've got Kimberly Hoang with the regional director for Amazing Lash Studios.
And Kimberly's here too, yes. And so tell me how you met both of them.
Yeah, well, Raad, we actually host our model castings twice a year. And I'll never forget this, because
and Raad wants to be there.
I actually was behaving myself, okay?
Yeah.
And I got connected with this tailor. I'll give it a little plug.
give it a little plug.
My man Dave Welsh from Bespoke.
Yeah, good stuff.
Go Dave, yeah. This is actually one of his stuff right here. If you're looking here, hold on Instagram.
Yeah, you can stand up.
Okay,
cool stuff.
So this guy got really cool stuff. And so, hey Dave, when's my next sports coat? I've worn this a lot. So,
and Bespoke is the English way of saying custom tailors.
yes, except he doesn't have B-E. It's B period S-P-O-K-E. Okay, so check him out on Facebook. Yeah, B, like B spoke. So anyway, so I connected with him right as I turned about 50, and he's like, oh, you have way too much social media exposure, so I'm going to put a jacket on you so you could basically claim that, we're connected. I said, okay, fine. Do I get a deal on it? He said, yes. I said, fine.
Love it.
Right?
Love it.
And that was it. And then as a result of that,
the only guy that dresses up for his radio show when he comes in here, he dresses up to be on radio. I never understood.
So before we started producing the shows with video, when it was just audio,
right?
Okay, the joke was that, and it was genuinely, it was true, but it was also a joke, is that our first sponsor was actually a tailor that dresses us for radio. Okay. So, but anyway, so then right after that, he decided, I think Kathy and Dave were talking about him showcasing, and I think the event was at OC Fashion Week, was on Pelican Hill.
Pelican Hill, yeah.
So
you've done several events there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kimberly,
beautiful.
Yeah, have you been as well to the events?
I have.
Okay.
Yes, I've been
At
involved.
the Coliseum.
And what is amazing lash? So it's just so we get everybody's plugging in. So Raad does the show. He's an interior designer, does lots of work in the spa industry, and obviously has an eye for fashion and a connection with fashion.
Yeah, health and wellness industry.
And Kimberly does what?
We do lashes. So Amazing Lash Studio is a huge franchise. It's a national brand. We'll actually have over 200 locations open by the end of the year. And what we do is we empower women. And so our entire brand is about making women look and feel amazingly beautiful. So we give them lash extensions. So for anyone who wants to know what are lash extensions, we place synthetic lashes on your natural lash, and I guarantee you it is something so incredibly amazing. It is not the same as regular strip lashes. Right. It's not the same as mascara. You wear it, and Kathy actually has them on
right now.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh,
yes.
I love them. I mean, sometimes I don't.
And
wear
how long
any
do
makeup.
they last for?
They last anywhere between 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
Actually, sometimes even longer. It really just depends on how well you take care of them and your own lifestyle and natural growth of your hair.
And where do they buy them, or how do they get them, or do you go someplace, or do you order them, or what do you do?
We are independently owned studios, so we have actually 8 locations in Orange County currently, 9th one on the way, which I'm working on. And so anyone can come and visit our location. We have professionally licensed, fully trained estheticians and cosmetologists. They go through a very extensive training program to put the lashes on. And the very first time anyone comes in, all they have to do is pay $89.99, which is extremely competitive in this market.
Sure.
And it's very relaxing. It's not, it's not like something cumbersome. You come in and
not
they've
at
got
all.
these nice gel pads, and you're like falling asleep, and they're like, and all of a sudden you wake up and you got these beautiful lashes.
It's
Right.
a really great experience. It's super relaxing. You have a private service room. You don't have to lay next to someone you don't know and feel uncomfortable.
Right.
We play music. A lot of times we'll do events, just as Kathy said. For example, Mother's Day, we'll serve champagne and chocolate-covered strawberries, and you can get your lashes done and wake up and feel immediately beautiful.
So I'm
It's that
amazed
easy.
you've got representatives of the spa industry, health, the spa industry, all the work Rod's in that industry, you got industry in the beauty industry, you've got lashes, you got all these things. All this is connected to Orange County Fashion Week?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, Kathy.
And well, again, for the topic and for the sake of the topic, in promoting live events, one of the beauty or the Skinny on Beauty here for us is that when we bring on a sponsor at OC Fashion Week, it becomes a branded experience. And every moment from that point on becomes their ability to communicate their brand to constituents that might be a prospective customer, might be a new partner or franchise owner. To any facet, they start to communicate, and they become part of our common language. We like to say, if fashion is a language, style is what we speak.
Right. So you actually put the events together with Raad and Kimberly.
Well,
right?
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Raad
'cause
is he's on our advisory board, and he
The fashion fashion council advisory board.
And he also runs his own business as a luxury interior designer.
Right.
And he has his own agency. But what's really beautiful is that he's also introduced us to, say, someone like Ziana Wellness. Now, his style...
Other sponsors,
right?
Yes.
And his stylescape is his ability to reconstruct, beauty in a whole new way that gives people the living environment space that for everyone to enjoy. And so bringing his eye, it also brings us, a competitive edge as far as how we select our venues, who we bring on board, because he as guest himself, and it keeps to our a loyalty to this particular luxury market, because Orange County, the way in which we like to present us is that we are what makes us separate from, say, Los Angeles or any other county for that matter, is that we have a luxury market.
We are the luxury market, yep.
So we communicate in that in all facets. And so each time when we have an event, we have a different, we're kind of built a little like a TV guide. So all our audiences are different daily. And we do that on purpose because our category of clothing are different. And when our category of clothing are different, that caters to a different audience. And that particular sponsor might want to be on day 2, but might not want to be on day 4.
Right.
So we do that on purpose. So if you go to Fashion Week every single day, you'll find a totally different venue, a totally different audience, and a totally different theme.
Right.
Somebody tweeted
Very
in and said
diverse.
they'd never been there. I've never been to Fashion Week. You can only look at me to know that I've never been to anything fashionable in my life here. But what do you see during that? You go to different I'm trying to understand what it is. You go to different hotels, you see runway shows, you see exhibits, you see cocktail party. What do you see during the week, and where do you see all this?
Yeah, well, absolutely. The number one thing that folks come for is the fashion, and we are run like a trade industry. Because, we have our shopping malls and they have their shopping mall events, but we are a trade industry. We're here for the trade. So what you're going to see is, and usually when you get an invite, it's an invitational because someone or somebody is connected to our trade show, and that's what gives you that invitation. It's not exclusive, saying where we're not going to let you in just because you're not in the apparel, beauty, hair, or makeup industry. It's just saying that we have
That's your target market, though.
It is our target audience, and for the most part, we do prioritize based on, that first come, first serve, and that's what keeps us.
And what do you see when you go in? You get in.
Well, the first thing you see is we have wonderful sponsors, and that's the first thing you see as our vendors when you come to an opening venue. Like last season, we had the Orange County Museum of Art as our day 2. And I'm jumping around because the day 1 was our press launch at the Coliseum, where we used every single cabana, and that was our exhibit space. We spoil our sponsors. They got a nice cabana, they got champagne, canapes, and a beautiful view, and an opportunity to speak to different folks from different media in a beautiful place, because we wanted to represent Orange County the best way we know how.
Yeah.
And it is, all about that.
So day 2, you go to the art museum, and what do I see when I go in there?
Well, we had a fashion illustrator night, which I'm glad you bring that up because we're actually bringing it back by popular demand. Yeah, everybody loved the fashion illustrator. We have a brand new venue that's going to be announced. We can't wait to say who it is. They're just finalizing a few things. But we are bringing that back, and that turned out to be a really big hit for some of our jewelers even, because they were saying, Kathy, we sold so much jewelry. Could we come out again? And we'd like to come back as a big supporter. And you got a chance to meet our gal, right? So Nassim Nelson with Labriza Design. So she's coming
Nassim's
back.
been on the show.
Yes. So, it's been really wonderful. But again, it's all about communicating, that fashion as a language and how it communicates to us and how it makes people feel. So we like to hear those success stories. And we know our job is to bring the shoppers, but it's ultimately that brand's job to make them a purchaser.
But are there shows? I'm trying to focus on this. Do I see runway shows? Do I just see exhibits? Do I just buy stuff?
Paul. So there's runway shows.
So so it breaks down like this, Paul. So 3 to 5 hair and makeup models, they all come down.
Yeah.
Everybody that's been casted, right?
Right.
And then and then probably about 5 p.m. we start giving refreshments to our models, who we have to thank our wonderful sponsors this year for Grit, Cycle, and Nectar, because they're coming in to help us out. They're amazing. And then doors open at 6 o'clock. approximately at 6:45. Now, seating is its own event, so we'd like to say that it's its own event because, yes, we do look at sexy shoes. We do look at handbags. We do want you to respect the runway because it is OC Fashion
It
Week.
wouldn't be
And so
without
if
it,
you're wearing
right?
something that looks like you schlepped it off a butcher's truck, then, of course, you're going to get the back seat. No.
Why are
But
y'all looking at me
I'm
when you say
teasing.
that?
No.
Why is
Actually,
everybody looking this way?
Cargo pants
might-
are back.
Cargo pants can work, yeah. No, respectively, we do like to make sure that our crowd is well received as well for press. So we do look at that. At
Yeah.
6:45, we make our opening announcements and we announce our lineup of catwalk and runway, and we thank our wonderful sponsors like Amazing Lash Studios.
Right.
You know, we've been doing about 11 seasons with Tony and Guy Hairdressing Academy, who, oh gosh, we have to thank our lucky stars for. They're also on our
Right down
fashion
the street from
council.
us here, right?
I know, they're
around the corner.
right
They are.
here.
They're right here.
And
Costa Mesa, right across from South Coast Plaza.
and
here.
also, yeah, neighboring is the Art Institute. You know,
Yeah.
both of them are catering to
Right around the
two
corner, yeah,
different
right.
types of students. Here you've got the hair and beauty industry
Yeah.
of makeup, and we love that because that in and of itself is its own event.
Right. And it takes a lot of people to put on an event. And I'm sure all the sponsors
Yes.
collaborate together and like, okay, so what's the new trending thing in social media? How are we going to promote this? What are we going to do? I know that Amazing Lash Studios uses influencer marketing a lot.
A lot.
Yes,
lot.
let's talk about
And
that.
yeah, and we will talk about that. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to get into all the tips and everything that we have for you for covering your live events. Thank you.
Imagine what it would feel like to lose everything. Your job, your home, your family, your dignity. This has happened to thousands of the men, women, veterans, and young adults we serve at Working Wardrobes. What do we do to help? We provide career development services, life skills workshops, job skills training. We provide the perfect interview outfit, and we get clients placed in jobs. Call Working Wardrobes, 714-210-2460. Donate, volunteer, invest, hire.
When it comes to pioneers in their respective industries, we all know the Apples, Starbucks, and Trader Joe's of the world. In the realm of recruiting, Decision Toolbox is the industry's best-kept secret, with 90% of their business from referrals and repeat customers. For over 20 years, Decision Toolbox's U.S.-based team of recruiters, sourcers, professional writers, quality personnel, and tech support has perfected a Six Sigma approach to talent management. No matter the size of the project, Decision Toolbox delivers incredible results. A cost per hire less than half of what contingency firms charge, with the winning candidate presented in an average of 14 days, all with a 12-month candidate warranty. With results like that, Decision Toolbox won't be a secret for long. Visit us at www.dtoolbox.com for more information.
All right, we're back with this bevy of beauty here talking about Orange County Fashion Week. And Raad, too. All right, so I think I got to understand. I know you want to talk more about the specifics of how you pull off an event like this.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we're all here this evening, or afternoon rather, to talk about how to pull off a live event and make that successful also online. So Kimberly, if you want to tell us a little bit about like what your favorite tips are for influencer marketing and how to find influencers.
Influencers, one thing that is extremely important is to make sure that they're local. Because if you're trying to use an influencer that's not in your area, it is not going to hit your demographic. You also want to make sure that that influencer is trendy, it understands your brand. So, for example, when we worked with OC Fashion Week, all of the influencers that we used were models of OC Fashion Week. And these girls, not only were they beautiful, but they were current to what we were looking for, and they were very diverse, too. So we looked at girls who were multi-ethnic, they had different interests. Some were very sporty, some were more casual, some were more very office-driven in terms of their style. And what is really important is that we connected them and made them our lash ambassadors. So, in that sense, we not only put lashes on them, but we had them do live stories. We had them record their entire experience through Amazing Lash so that anyone at home could watch and look through their Facebook and social media and experience it at home too, and that inspires them to come in. And on top of that, then they take before and after photos. So when you're doing live events, it's really just important to represent your brand in the right manner and what is current and trendy. But not only that, you want real people. You know, you want people who you can relate to, and that is really important. And not only that, we follow the journey throughout OC Fashion Week, so we don't just drop them. Our lash ambassadors, we keep them forever, and we connect them to the brand, and so they feel connected and they want to come back. And we inspire women to inspire more women, and that's the trend that we want to set. It's a huge domino effect that's really, really, really motivating.
Now, do you have to have like a healthy budget in order to work with influencers, or how does that work for you guys?
It really depends. So for what we did with our lash ambassadors, we actually didn't even really spend that much money. What we offer them is a lot of times to have free lashes. They come in once a month, discounts on products. We offer their friends and families. And in return, what they do for us is, you know, they post about us. A lot of them are bloggers, so they would blog about their experience. We also do referral programs as well, so they can bring in additional friends and family. It's really great and flexible. So we do the same thing with the Charger Girls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the San Diego, now LA Charger Girls. We do the same thing. So you can honestly do it with any brand, any service, any product. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really cost that much. There just has to be some similarity on, okay, what do you want and how can we make it work?
Right. And so I'm hearing a lot of, you know, working with them, building that relationship, right?
Yes.
To build the brand awareness, the brand equity, but it's all about building that relationship with the influencer to where, you know, you feel comfortable, they feel comfortable, and it's a win-win situation.
Exactly.
That's actually so key for a lot of models too, because when they do fashion shoots, sometimes like their whole gas tank, you know, back and forth to LA could be like $70.
Right.
And that's the cost they're willing to forego, you know, because they can't afford to get the lashes. So kind of, it also works as a great luxury amenity for models, because that little enhancement goes a long, long way. And I like to call it like endless.
Oh, lashes complete your look.
They do.
Any female who knows.
I'm dying that I love mine.
Yes. I mean, if
I'm addicted.
You can't live without your mascara or your strip lashes. But then once you have lash extensions, I guarantee you, ladies, it will change your life. It is so convenient.
Yeah, I have to say.
You wake up and you're ready to go.
Ready to go.
So, Raad, what would you say are some very important things that you should mention during covering a live event?
Let me just start by saying it's really amazing to be in this room right now, because there's a lot of, well, and Paul, but, you know, but
I'm amazed you let me be in the room.
Hashtag man in the curtain.
Isn't that true? But you know, prior to interior design, I have an undergraduate in economics and a master's degree. I burnt out at the age of 20 doing a master's degree in marketing at the Drucker Center. And no, I'm not just name dropping Paul, but
he studied under Peter Drucker, the most famous marketing guru of the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the thing about what you guys were sharing, what you ladies were sharing, is so important. And I think a lot of people make so many mistakes when it comes to influencers and social media presence. And no, I have it's a personal page, not my company page. There is no such thing as personal. Everything is exposed. Everybody is a celebrity of some sort or the other on the internet. If you're spending anything more than 10 minutes on the internet a week, you are watched. People are curious what you do. And so there has to be a strategy behind all of it. And it, like was shared, the target market, the quantifiable, you know, conversion, how do you basically make it a win-win for everybody? So I think that applies across all industries. I think in this particular case with fashion, I mean, I had this very similar experience relevant to getting involved in this, is I was asked to be a brand ambassador for Dave Welsh, for Bespoke. And it works for me because I am very much on the scene as far as social media. Some people actually, including my sister, asked me if I would give anybody else a chance to post because I was basically blowing up her feed, right?
Yeah, he's an influencer.
But the thing about it is, it has to be strategic. It has to be applicable to your brand. It has to be, you know, cannot be fake. That's the other thing too. Is a lot of people put on the persona, but if it's not really you, then it's not going to be authentic. If you're doing it just for the show and then not following up like you shared, you know, where you keep them forever, because that is part of the interest of the story, right? And everybody's bringing in their own voice to your brand, or your product.
Can I give you another thought here? And I've seen it in the studio, and then prior to that, my work in corporate PR. I think you have to create an event that people want to talk about. You have to create an atmosphere that when people come in, they want to get the picture taken. Oh, this is too cool. I got to share it with the world. We see that in the studio. You guys went crazy. Everybody taking their picture here in the studio. We found that this is like a movie set. So people want to, when you come here, it's not like going to the dentist office. You want to tell everybody, look where I am, look what I'm doing.
Well, and that's what Raad specializes in, is that design, right?
I know he's talked about that with creating spas and stuff.
Well, here's the thing, right? I had the hardest time explaining to people what we do as far as brandable spaces. And it's like, what the heck is a brandable space, right? Your brand product, for example, at Starbucks is the cup that you're drinking your coffee in, and it has the brand logo on it. But the environment in which you are experiencing that product is your branded space. If people focus only on the product and not the environment or the stage upon which you perform your business, you are going to be in a situation where the only competitive edge down the road will be your price point competition. You are not offering anything.
Such good advice.
You're not really offering anything that is environmental. And these days, if you don't believe me, look at how many stores and retail stores that are basically successful 6 months ago are actually now for lease signs on them. It's a placemaking, it's an environment making, it's an experience based, whether it's retail or services or products. Even even a payroll accountant, even if somebody doing your taxes. If you think about it, it is a branded space.
Well, especially with the launch of social media and the evolution, I should actually say, of social media, because everything is being covered live now. Everybody is marketable, right? Like you were saying, everybody is media.
Absolutely.
And so everyone is sharing their environment, their life, and taking you inside of that. And so if you have a brandable space, people are going to want to share stories on Instagram and Facebook or do live videos.
It also provides you with a competitive edge, because at the end of the day, you're spending top dollar for that real estate. So if your environment does not have a sustainable business model through the environment build-up, the placemaking, then you're looking at an environment that you're going to have to redo more often, which takes away resources from the focus on payroll, merchandise, inventory, etc. So if you actually establish your identity and brand, whether it's a combination of different things delivered in a different way that reflects directly to the authenticity of you, then you have an environment that's going to have a 5 to 7 year shelf life, which means you can focus all your resources on making money and being in business, not
So how did Kathy, how do you take that and build these brandable experiences, brandable spaces, these things that people want to talk and tweet about and picture and share? And
well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because my very first year with OC Fashion Week was, originally they were promoting it as one entire week. And the dilemma at that time was that they had very little budget and very little resources to buy ad buys to promote it. So because my background was in television, all I knew how to do was to sell day parts.
Day parts on an event, right?
On an event. So every single night. So every single night became a brand. There was Sugar Rush, 18 to 34 plus, bikinis, babes, eye candy, hot tech, menswear, 25 to 54 plus, different consumer expenditure. It's at William Land Air Museum. And, suddenly Single Market, late night 40s, House of Style, Glass Catwalk at On Key, Dawson Cole Fine Art. It was, couture, charity event, 25 to 54 plus, largely affluent. So everything became a chess piece, and we had to make it so dynamic and so different that we wanted it. One, it had to be Instagrammable. It had to be photographable. It had to be
talkable. I want to talk about it. But you have no money. How do you make these things? Is it where you do them? Is it how you do them? What do you build into them so that when I walk in, I go, not only wow, but I got to tell the world?
Well, you don't have to always have a healthy budget to do that, right?
Well, the venue, originally when we started, we didn't have that. But, when you go to Dawson Cole Fine Art in Laguna Beach and you see a $25 million sculpting garden that no one else has in the world, you kind of want to say, wow, that looks amazing, right?
And I got to tell the world about it.
Right.
Look where I am.
If you go to House of On and you go to On Key and you see a restaurant that's a luxury restaurant with a glass catwalk, you're going to say, wow, never seen that before.
Right.
So
when you come into OC Talk Radio, Orange County's only community radio station, you see all the cool stuff we have here. You can tell people about it.
Yeah, exactly. So we could do a lot of shameless promotion.
Oh, ouch, she got you.
So no. Actually, we got to do this, right? Actually, we're going to write a book called The Confessions of a Shameless Promoter Writer. But for the most part, who isn't, right? Who doesn't do that shameless plug? You have have to these days, and you got to have the autonomy to know how to identify yourself when you do it, and then how to do that cross collaboration. And granted, we're still learning, you know, on many facets and notes, because I like to call everybody like an athlete when they're really, really good at what they do, because you see some of these folks that take their brand to the 11th level. I've seen some of even our own interns thrive. You know, Adrena Rose, you know, we love her. She started with us, you know, originally in our Fashion for the Future program. Now she's got her own thing going. So a lot of it has been you finding your individuality, and
your voice,
and then sharing that with the world,
So when covering that live event, you know, I'm hearing a lot of like, make sure that you do that plug, right? Make sure you have the plug. Make sure you're telling the information. Hey, we're here at OC Fashion Week, wherever it's going to be this next year, right? In September. And then making sure that you're actually inviting that user into your experience. You know, what is going on? What's the branding? What's the lifestyle at the event? What's happening?
Exactly. That's mostly it. And, you know, early on, what we had done that kind of one of our earlier challenges as well back in, you know, 2012-13 was bringing a TV station all the way from LA. Would they come down? And I remember having a conversation with CBS, and they were giving me their sales rep. They're like, well, you're going to have to get an ad buy for this. And we're like, 20 grand, what? And just by some really great luck, we were approached by an affiliate of MTV, and we were given 13 episodes to run. And at the time, it was like, CBS, and, you know, and do we get this anchor? Like, wait, how many followers does she have? And we looked, and we're like, wait, our cosmetic sponsor has more followers. We're like, holy cow, let's make her the anchor. And so all of a sudden, our little fashionista now boarding, which began as a fashion tour excursion, then became a blogging forum, then ultimately became the name of our fashion travel TV show. So now what we do is we
Which is through OC Fashion Week.
Through OC Fashion Week.
OC Fashion Week produces Fashionista Now Boarding, and that is where you do a lot of coverage around the world on fashion in that town,
Yeah, so Fashionista Now Boarding has a segment called Behind the Scenes. That show segment highlights everything behind the runways of OC Fashion Week, interviewing fashion designers. And Fashionista Now Boarding highlights all our sponsors involved. And that reaches about 16 million households every Thursday night on Channel 63 KBEH. So we've been very fortunate. We don't take that for granted, because we know that some people, if they're not watching cable, we also make it available on their mobile phones, in which now we have got about a 66% open rate.
Ooh,
so that ability to have both a digital facet and the traditional media facet.
And I can tell you that's a phenomenal open rate, even for people who subscribe to stuff. We've had shows come in here and they say, we have a newsletter, we get 10,000 people on some niche topic, and they might get 20% open rates of people who have subscribed and say, send me this.
Average, actually. I think the 20% is actually considered good.
It's actually, it's above average.
And I will tell you, one of the ways we've seen people use this, and you probably do too, is the more rich media you put in there, more audio and video and other things in it, the higher the open rate goes on all this stuff here.
Especially the way Google search is now being driven is more video content.
And everybody's on a smartphone, so why do I want to read something when I can watch it or listen to it?
It's the same with social media, too. People don't even realize that when you're doing an Instagram post, and I say this to anyone with a brand who is a brand ambassador, if you are putting in a lot of text content, people are just going to scroll through. They're not going to look at that. It has to be relevant. It has to be eye-catching. It has to be memorable. So if you're going to type an entire paragraph and then add 2 more paragraphs of hashtags, forget it.
You know, that's such a good point to make. I see a lot of people that started into the blogging side of things very early on when blogging was covered wagon days, and they would put on these just run-off page upon page upon page of you know, research and whatever, and they get very impassioned about their topic, but then now they're trying to get social media driven content, and they're doing exactly the same thing they were doing before, and it's just
And how do you read that on a 2-inch screen? Come on. That's the way the world's moved, to a 3-inch screen or whatever it is. And,
especially when you have a lot of people that are older.
Why are you looking at me again?
You know, I will say that
older.
Older.
I will say users on Facebook actually do like a little bit more copy than people on Instagram. So I think keeping it relevant to the platform is really key.
Very good point.
Yeah. So
and that's a good point, Sharon. You've talked about this a lot. The platforms all don't function the same way.
Exactly.
They
no,
have
they
different
don't.
purposes.
And so it's so funny when I get new clients or I'm working with a brand, they're like, okay, well, I just want you to consult me on this, and I can do it on every channel. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really work that way. You know, I'm happy to consult you, but every channel doesn't work the same way, and your followers are rarely going to be crossed over unless you do some really good messaging and branding.
So, Cheryl, I got a question for you relevant to that. Okay, so it's not only that they operate differently, but also the time and when you post and is different as well per channel, right?
Yes.
And then what is the deal with people is there actually a correlation? I have this theory about, is there a correlation between people that if you post two things, one on Facebook and one on Instagram, the same people that you have as friends will respond to one or the other depending on the actual device brand that they have? I have seen friends of mine that are basically on Apple that never respond to anything on my Facebook, but then they respond to the exact same thing instantaneously on Instagram. And then ones on Samsung that don't do it on Instagram, but they respond on Facebook.
So they're device specific. They're device specific.
I mean, I'm just asking that question because it drives me nuts.
I know, that's hilarious, actually. That's kind of funny.
So some social media platforms work better on an Apple than they do on a Samsung. Is that what you're saying? Some would work better.
I don't know. I don't know.
Actually, it doesn't have to do with the device. It has to do with where you post it first. So, for example, if you are posting a story or anything on Instagram and then you share it to Facebook, there's going to be a delay time. And same vice versa from Facebook to Instagram. So they're going to look at whatever pops up first on their feed.
So can I ask you a question? We have this debate all the time. We are essentially a live podcasting platform. We do it live, and we're always debating, should we stick with live? And Facebook and Twitter, everybody's all into this live immediacy, right? What's happening right now? There's an urgency to what? Do you think it's important to create that urgency, not just for them to tell the story right now, but to tune in and see the story right now, as opposed to, I'll just look at this later when I have the time, or listen to it, or watch it, or whatever?
I think we usually sell on time and pressure. Actually
it's
thrive.
All about urgency.
You thrive. You can thrive off time and pressure.
Well, Paul,
So I'll lead up some of my strategies. I'll lead up for the show, right? I might do, the day before, and do some crowdfunding the day before and sourcing, and then during the actual live show, I'll check in at OC Talk Radio an hour before the show. I'm posting the press, hey, tune in, and then I'm tweeting when it's going on usually. But today,
too much going on, right?
No, Instagram took over today, so you guys got my phone. But so that urgency, because people want the instantaneous, they want the right now, so they want to know what's going on right now. That's why live video is trending, right?
Trending huge. Zuckerberg says that's the future of Facebook. That's everybody's going to be not taking pictures as much as they'll be saying, I'm here right now. Look at this. You don't miss this. The whole premise of Twitter, what's happening right now, this second.
Even marketing agencies are having to switch, like myself, the services that we offer, because now it's all about video marketing. And a lot of marketing agencies, if they've been around as long as I have, they don't have video marketing. So guess what? I'm learning. And thank God my undergrad is in video marketing.
And it's so funny because it's
Film
really
school.
because of that transparency.
Yeah.
People want that real. They don't want something that is overly prepared.
Yes.
Well,
Like even like in our shows we
The
don't prepare.
authenticity.
Yes.
Say that again. I have so many people want to come in and they want to make these shows perfect. And I said, then they're perfectly boring. Make it real. Make it
so if
genuine.
they're predictable, then it becomes kind of like they automatically shut down. I mean, we've basically created a difficult audience, is what's happened.
That's demanding.
Because it's a immediate self-gratification. In the moment they get a response, they could buy on the fly, they could shop on the fly, they can, selfie on the fly.
Yeah, and actually, you made me think of something. So going back to what Raad was saying is about, having that authenticity. If you're not authentic in what you're doing, then that's going to come across on everything, and your messaging is going to be all over the place. And so if you have followers that count on you to be a certain way, but that's not really what the strategy is for what you're trying to do, or that's not really you, then they're not going to be interested on your live video feed or what you're doing, because you've gained a completely different audience to what you're trying to do. So making sure that you have that strategy in line before you even start something.
So it goes back to your influencers. You've got to really pick the right people, and they've got to genuinely be interested. You can't just dress them up, pay them off, and send them out.
Well, and it goes back to how Kathy started with the OC Fashion Week. I mean, it was just meant to be, that was exactly what was supposed to happen for Hot OC, which is actually, let's spell it and give the URL.
Yes, HAUTEOC is our incentive agency, but OC Fashion Week is our main brand.
So Hot HAUTEOC.
Hot cuisine.
It's actually not hot cuisine. No,
it's just hot. Smoking.
My friends that are from Paris are like, Kathy, it's Haute OC.
Haute OC.
So yes, absolutely.
So is there a website and all this stuff where we can go see all this, or is this still?
Yeah, so if you go to OC Fashion Week, and we have a brand new website that's going to be launched any day, so we're really excited.
Right now, it's happening right now. They're doing it as we're speaking.
Yeah, and we have some brand new partners that are coming on board, so it gets really exciting, and some brand new exciting locations. So we're excited.
Well, I hope you're going to let the Skinny on Beauty come out and give us the skinny of what they see when
she is. Definitely. I'm going to try to get one of those locations.
You should come to one of my studios. We can do your lashes for you, and
There
then you
we
can come
go.
and participate at OC Fashion Week as well.
Can I
That
give you
just
an even?
segues to another segment right there. Hello.
Can I give you an even crazier idea?
And do a live feed.
What's
do
the
a live
crazy?
Here's an even crazier idea. I don't know if it's possible, but if you could do it here when she's on the air, she could describe the experience. Raad did that with me. He suckered me into bringing a masseuse.
He got massaged
I got
in his
massaged
chair.
on the air. And it was pretty weird. Yeah. So
Like
live,
what
you
she
could
goes,
hear
she
me getting a
said
massage.
We
Sleep.
can do hyperlapse videos of the process.
Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah,
can
we can
definitely do it.
Yeah.
I mean, because I was just like, I was gone. I was like 60 seconds. Like, wow. Hello, Kathy.
I don't think it's the experience she wants when she's getting lashes, Paul. I think she's probably going to want a little bit more serene an environment.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, it usually goes two ways. The first way is most of my clients end up falling asleep because they're so relaxed.
We don't want that to happen.
Second
no, right?
experience is they usually end up connecting so much to the stylist that they end up talking about their personal lives and sharing dirty details. So I don't know if we want to do that
could
live.
Do Cheryl's got lots of dirty details in her life. She's always coming in.
If strategically she wants to put out that.
Don't go there.
Can you do one thing for me though, Kimberly?
Sure.
Cheryl came in a few months ago and she was doing her show. And she said, before she comes on, she was just saying, she said, I'm done with men. I'm done. I'm done with men. She starts talking about her last boyfriend breakup or something. She's done with men. We need to get this girl a good guy. Can you get her a good guy here?
Does he have a switch?
We can do it.
Cheryl, we need to turn him off. Where's your switch? Where's your off switch?
Oh, we are having model casting this Saturday at Grit Cycle from
Nice.
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. We did notice that there was a high casting registration for a lot of male models this season. Yeah.
Bring Cheryl, get her a guy.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to doll up Cheryl. I'm going to put lashes on you.
Yeah.
And on top of that,
gosh.
my girls do hair and makeup for our clients too.
There you
as
go.
complimentary.
Come on.
After that, we'll drive over to Kathy.
Oh my God. And you don't actually don't have to drive very far because Amazing Lash Studio is right next to Grit Cycle.
Oh,
See?
In Monarch Beach, the Monarch Beach
location.
Oh, I love that location.
Isn't
It's
that funny?
beautiful.
I know. Another shameless plug.
Take her over there. All right. Good.
And I actually have to head to LA. But
Well, I think we're almost done here. Yeah.
yeah.
Give us some. Go around the room, starting with Kathy. And how do we get you? Where do we reach you? Let's do all the plugs here.
Well, you can visit us online at ocfashionweek.com and save the date September 5th through the 8th because we are very excited to introduce all new, brand new fashion designers.
And
all
assuming
hair,
you get
makeup, and
invited, is there a cost to this? Is it free? How does it work?
Yeah, typically, if you are press, of course, you can come.
All right, well,
if you're an
Cheryl's in.
influencer or blogger, you can register online under the influencers section as well. We will have tickets available, and they're typically $35 per person every day. And if you want a daily fast pass, that's $150, gets you into opening night, which is at an amazing location.
Cool.
We were going to say that gets you every day into Fashion Week daily. There is a 20-minute interim, so if you don't get there on time, you lose your front row.
And I'm working on a promo code for you guys. Hopefully.
Cool.
I just got notified.
Cool. She didn't know that.
No, yeah, actually, absolutely, we do that.
Sure.
I'm like, received. Ding. Skinny on Beauty promo code coming up. Yeah, you're going to get it. So
all right, Amazing Lash, what do we do? What do we need to know there?
All you got to do is go to AmazingLashStudio.com. There's all the national studios there, including Orange County. You just click on the location that you'd like to visit to, and there's a little section where you put in your information. We are actually giving a special to all the listeners of OC Talk Radio. All you got to do is just let them know. Kimberly referred us from OC Talk Radio, and every individual studio will give you $25 off on your very first introductory lash visit. So that's all you have to do.
And you said it's what, like $89 or something?
It's $89.99. So for all the participants today, you get an additional $25 off.
Love that. And how many studios are there around the? Is this a franchise? There's tons of them around the country.
It's a franchise, so they will have 200 locations open by the end of the year, and currently we have 8 open in Orange County.
And you're with the parent company?
Yes, I work directly with the franchisor corporate, but I'm also the regional developer and regional director, so I run all of Orange County.
And it's based here in Orange County?
Yes,
franchise.
The franchise is actually based in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Oh, well, we'll get them to move over. Okay. And then Raad, how do we reach you or listen to your shows?
I'm gonna want to do 2 plugs. One is for my tailor, so keep it fashion, and it's Bespoke Style. Spoke SPO. No, there's no period in the website. BSPOKE style.com. Dave Welsh is my man.
Custom tailor.
Custom tailoring.
He is a fashion designer.
He is a fashion designer.
Yeah.
Is he showing this year?
He's coming back. Yeah, he's
awesome.
coming back. We just we did a little plug. If you go to our
are we
Instagram,
going to have to are we going to have to interview for Walking Runway this year too?
Yes.
Oh man.
Rod loved that.
I know.
Okay.
I know that's what we met him, is that we were adjusting his walk.
She's like
adjust his walk.
She's like
we had to get him
James Bond walk, and she's like, and she says Daniel Craig, and I said Daniel Craig. At my age, it's Sean Connery. It's not Daniel Craig.
Come on, Rod.
And then the interior design company, it's Ghantous.com. It's RAADGHANTOUS.com. And again, the stage upon which you perform your business. Very important. What you wear, what you say, what you look like.
And if you
all
want to follow
is very important.
Rod's aging experience and his journey, his crazy journey, his real life, this is like a reality show on radio. You can listen to the Raad Life every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, or his new show, Check Out California, which is all about the hospitality industry. He's so well versed in hotels and spas and all that stuff.
And
Thank you. Go ahead.
Oh,
And
can I
then
put
Cheryl.
one more plug? And don't forget to watch us on Fashionista Now Morning every Thursday night at 7 o'clock, channel 63. And if not, you can watch us
Fashionista Now
online.
It's
Morning.
awesome stuff.
And you can watch online at Hot OC. Yes.
Hot OC.
Hot.
And our show is actually coming up soon.
Yes.
Actually.
Next Thursday night.
Next Thursday night. Okay, yes. So I'll be on.
Cheryl, how do they reach you? You always forget to tell us how if they want a social media guru, a maven, an expert in the fashion world of how to make all this happen.
You can reach me at unitesocially.org anywhere across the board.
I love that name, Unite Socially. Isn't that what we're all trying to do? Unite Socially
Unite
here?
Socially, yep. Yeah. And of course, Skinny on Beauty. That is my personal channel, and Unite Socially's podcast.
Very good.
Before we close out, Kathy, did you bring your quote?
Uh-oh.
We did. I did. I have
she
my
did?
quote.
Okay, all right.
So I always like
Do
to
you know
say.
it by heart?
I do. Fashion is a language, and style is what we speak.
Ooh.
And when you travel, anywhere you go, that style is redefined. And in the end, what we're looking for is ourselves. So we always like to say, discover the world you've been missing. And that's it.
I love it.
Awesome.
Discover
So
the
we hope
world
that-
you've been missing.
And what the world you're missing is you in another place, in another land, in another time. So,
Did you make
fashion.
that one up, or did
She
you
did.
get that somewhere?
Yeah,
You wrote that?
that's her own.
Yeah, that's my. You're
Pretty
gonna have
cool.
to
You
quote
put
that one.
her name after that one.
Make sure,
Quote,
I like that.
Quote
You're
unquote.
Yeah.
So.
All right, and does
It's actually
Kimberly,
on our logo.
does Kimberly have a quote? No, I put her on the spot. Do you have a quote? What do
I
you live by?
do, but it's not regarding
Can be anything.
necessarily
Just a
style
quote.
fashion, but my favorite quote, and I actually have it tattooed down my spine.
You do?
I do.
We won't make you prove that. But
No, she's not going to, Paul.
all right. You have it on your spine. Okay.
Yes.
I saw you had something in your arm, but I didn't know what that was.
Yes, that's another
great.
symbol. But my
awesome.
favorite quote is, "Every man has his burdens. What counts is how you carry it." Just really speaking about inner strength, pushing through adversity, and really,
We're all about that here.
yeah,
Wow.
it's And so that's why I put it on my back, because I carry my burdens on my back.
Rod, you might as well throw him. Do you have a quote?
Rod, you might as well.
Really simple, actually. I've always liked this one. Just whatever you do, aspire to inspire.
Aspire to inspire.
We love it. Thank you, everyone. You've been fabulous to have on the show.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank
Amazing.
you so much.
Love this show.
Yeah,
Thank you to all of our listeners and viewers. Until next time, stay beautiful, Orange County.
Yay.